Class 3 and Class 4. Welcome to your reading for today. We're going to continue with the Hodgehog. So I'd like you to read 2 chapters today. I hope that's okay. I'd like you to read chapter 7 and chapter 8. They're not too long, so hopefully you'll find that all right. I'll go through the questions with you now, and then you can pause me, enjoy the chapter, have a go at your questions, and then we'll go through the answers. So, number 1, how did the family celebrate Max's return at the beginning of chapter 7? Why did Ma and Pa feel uncomfortable that Uncle B kept visiting? What advice did Uncle B give Max about what time of day to go out? Why did he suggest this? Why was Max so excited at the beginning of chapter 8? And what was the huge building where the small humans went? Pause me now, enjoy your reading, have a go at the questions, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, so Max's family celebrated Max's return by having a feast of snails. Ma and Pa felt guilty because Pa had eaten Uncle B's munchie meat and they knew he knew. Uncle B advised Max to go out in the daytime, and I think he suggested this because the humans could see the hedgehogs more clearly to reduce the risk of them being knocked over, and he said that he had seen humans who helped people to cross roads in the daylight. And Max was excited at the beginning of chapter 8 because he felt he might be successful in his quest that day and finally find a place to cross the road safely. And the small building was a school. Hi guys, welcome to your maths for today. Same as it has been this week, you will have a video. Don't pause in to do the worksheet. Your questions are at the end. Okay, so today we're going to recap calculating the perimeter of rectilinear shapes. So similar to yesterday, but we're looking at different shapes.
In this lesson, we're still going to look at perimeter, but not of rectangles. We're going to move our learning on slightly to look at rectilinear shapes. A rectilinear shape is a shape that's made up of 2 or more rectangles. And you can probably see in our first shape here, you can clearly see how we could sort of divide that into 2 rectangles if we wanted to. We don't have to do for perimeter though. We've got our grid, like we started yesterday's lesson with, and we need to find out what is the perimeter of this rectilinear shape. Well, we're going to start in just the same way as we did yesterday with rectangles. We're going to count up the squares around the edge of the shape. Okay, so we've labelled all our sides, and then we're going to write down each of the sides, remembering not to forget any. Quite a long addition calculation, so one thing that's quite useful to do is to try and find an efficient addition strategy. So here I can see I've got 2 add 3 is 5, 3 add 2 is 5, and then I've actually got 2 5s. So I've actually got 5, 10, 15, 20 centimetres there. So that just saves having to add up lots of individual sides. So have a go at calculating the perimeter of the rectilinear shapes A and B. So A, we've got lots of sides here, so it can be quite tricky to keep track and to make sure we've got them, especially these little 1 centimetre sides. We can see we're labelling up long side across the bottom there. And there's our very long addition number sentence. Is there any way that we can make this a bit more efficient? Can we see any pairs of numbers we can put together? Well, I'm seeing quite a few number bonds to 10 here. So we've got 5 add 5 is 10, 3 add 7 is 10. And then we've got some number bonds to 4. So we've got 2 to 10, that's 20, then 24. Another 4 there, 28. And another 4, 32. Okay, just that efficient pairing to make number bonds just helps with our mental strategies. And B, let's label up. Of course, you can go any way around the shape, clockwise or anti-clockwise, as long as you keep track of which you've labelled and which you haven't labelled. So there's our number sentence. We've got some 4s again, so we've got 1 add 3, that's 1 lot of 4, 2 lots of 4, 3 lots of 4 there, we had lots of 1 centimetres, 4 lots of 1 centimetre. Then our actual 2 4s as well, 20 centimetres for B. If you remember from yesterday, we looked at rectangles not on a grid. And that's what we're going to look at now. We're going to look at rectilinear shapes that aren't presented on a nice, convenient grid. So here we've got a rectilinear shape. And you may be thinking, well, we can't calculate the perimeter because we don't know every side, and we need all sides before we can add them up, don't we? So how can we find that side? Well, what we need to do in this case is look at the information we know, and particularly the parallel side to that missing side. So if we look at these two sides, they're parallel, aren't they, with the missing side? One of them is 4 centimeters, one of them is 3 centimeters. If we move them together like that, we can see that that 3 and that 4, because it's going up the right-hand side of the shape, equals the side going up the left-hand side of the shape. So the missing side in this case is 7, isn't it? 4 add 3 is 7. Now we know all our sides. We can do our calculation. And in this case, it's 26. We could see also that this idea of parallel sides works with the horizontal sides in this shape. We've got 6 along the top, and then if you look down, the other horizontal sides are 1 and 5. So 1 add 5 equals 6. Now 6 wasn't missing, so that didn't matter, but that shows how that works. And that's really important when we're calculating the perimeter of rectilinear shapes. You'll often not be labelled with every side, but you can find every side using the side you already have. So here we've got a similar situation. Can you see which two sides we don't know the length of? We don't know this one or that one. Okay, so let's take the vertical side first, the right-hand side first. We're going to use these two sides, aren't we? The other two vertical sides. We can see that they're 3 and 6 centimeters. So if we put them together, 3 add 6, that equals 9. So that was just like we saw before. However, the horizontal side is slightly different. Those are the other two horizontal sides. Do you think we're going to add 13 and 8? Look at the diagram. Would that make any sense? Well, no, because we'd end up with a length more than 13 centimeters, and we can clearly see that the missing side isn't more than 13, it's shorter than 13. So let's bring these two lengths down. To me, it looks a little bit like a bar model there. Okay, we've got or a part whole model. We've got the 13, then we've got 8, then we've got this missing side. So what do you think the calculation is to find this missing side? We're going to do a subtraction, aren't we? 13 subtract 8 equals 5 centimeters. So that equals 5. And when we look at the diagram now, that makes sense. If we look at the horizontal sides, we've got 8 and 5. 8 add 5 equals 13. And that looks correct with the long horizontal side at the top. Now we've fully labelled up, we can do our calculation. And in this case, 44 centimeters. So now it's over to you. 3 questions to find the perimeter of each shape. We've got those missing sides, so think about those strategies for finding our missing sides. Pause the video now, have a go at the questions. Okay, question 1, we can see we've got this vertical side that we need to find. But if we look at the other vertical sides, we've got 8 and 5. So we're going to do 8 subtract 5, which is 3. So 3 meters in this case, in there. So then to add up, we add up those lengths there, and our missing perimeter is 30 meters. Number 2, we've got the top horizontal side missing there. But we can see we've got 10 and 4 as other horizontal sides. So we're going to have 10 add 4 is 14, so 14 centimeters. Then we add up all the sides, 46 centimeters in that case. Number 3 is interesting. Again, we've got the top horizontal side that's missing. We've got 23. We know that we've got 23 centimeters along the bottom, and we've got 7 and 14. So to find that missing side in this case, it's that calculation, isn't it? 23 equals 7, add something, add 14. So we add up 7 and 14 is 21. So we need to do 21 add 2 is 23. So that gives us a 2 in there. Then we can add up all the sides. And in this case, the answer, 74 centimeters. You're now ready to have a go at the first 4 questions on the White Rose Maths worksheet for this lesson if you have it, or to start the BBC Bite Size website questions on this topic. But come back, we've got more learning about perimeter of rectilinear shapes to go. Welcome back. First of all, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and calculate the perimeter of that rectangle. Very straightforward. This is from yesterday's lesson, isn't it? Okay, so we've got 5 and 3, but then we're going to double that, so that's 8 times 2, 16 centimetres for our perimeter of that rectangle. Hopefully very straightforward for you. So I've put another rectangle that's just the same next to that first rectangle we started with. Do you think the perimeter is going to be 32? It would make sense, wouldn't it? It seems to, because we've doubled the rectangle. We've started with one rectangle, we've now got 2. The perimeter to start with was 16, it's now 32. Add up the perimeter, see the answer that you get. So I don't think you have got 32, have you? I think we've actually got 26. Why didn't we get 32? Because we've doubled, haven't we? We've doubled the number of rectangles. It's because of there, isn't it? We can see that, in fact, 2 sides of 3 centimetres, because there are 2 sides of 3 centimetres where that arrow is, have been lost. That are no longer in the perimeter. They're no longer on the outside of that shape. So that means it's 32 subtract 3, 2 lots of 3. So 32 subtract 6, 26. So that's an interesting idea about perimeter, that when we double the shape, it doesn't necessarily mean the perimeter will always double. Here we've got quite an interesting problem. The first question is the perimeter of the photo frame, so all the way around the edge of the frame. Pause the video, calculate the perimeter of the photo frame. Okay, let's label up our diagram. So the photo frame is 15 centimeters long and it's 12 centimeters wide, or high, sorry. So the perimeter, I would do 15, now 12 is 27, 27 times 2 is 54 centimeters. Okay. So now we've got a slightly different question. Here, the question is, what is the perimeter of the photo window? So that rectangle in the middle. Okay. We've got our lengths that we found from labeling before. And we also know that the border around the photo window is 2 centimeters wide. So we know it's 2 centimeters there. And we know it's 2 centimeters there. It's 2 centimeters all the way around. So let's look at our vertical length first here. You could think that's 12 subtract 2. Is it 10 centimeters? Look really carefully at our border. The border goes all the way around, doesn't it? So we've got another 2 centimeters there. So it's 12 subtract 4, in fact, isn't it? 2 lots of 2. So it's 8. See if you can do the same thing. Really quickly pause the video. See if you can do the same thing for the horizontal length. So the horizontal length here is going to be 15, not subtract 2, but 15 subtract 4. It's going to be 11 centimeters. So now we've got our 2 lengths for the perimeter of the photo window. Pause the video, calculate the perimeter of the photo window. So the photo window, well, we're going to do 11 add 8 is 19, and then 19 times 2 is 38 centimeters. So I've given you a similar problem here, but dealing with the front of a garage. Pause the video, read the question really carefully. I'd recommend drawing a diagram, copying what I've drawn to help you, and calculate the perimeter of the garage door. Okay, this is quite a tricky question because we've got meters and centimeters as well involved here, so we've got to do some conversions. So we know the garage is 4 meters wide and 3 meters high. First of all, let's put those into centimeters because I've given you the garage door measurements in centimeters, so it's easy if we're dealing with centimeters all the time. So the garage door is 70 centimeters shorter. So we can see that slightly shorter, it's 70 centimeters shorter than the actual garage. And it's 40 centimeters thinner on each side. That's really crucial, on each side. So now hopefully we're getting close to being able to calculate the length of the garage door. So that's going to be 230 centimeters, isn't it? Because it's going to be 300 centimeters is the height, subtract 70, 230 centimeters. For the horizontal length of the garage door, remember, we need to subtract 2 lots of 40. So here, it's going to be 320 centimeters. 400 subtract 40, subtract 40. So now, we've got our 2 lengths. We can add them up and double them. 1,100 centimeters is the perimeter of the whole of the garage door. You're now ready to have a go at the last questions on the White Rose Maths worksheet if you've got it. If not, have a look back at the BBC Bite Size website for more challenging perimeter of rectilinear shape questions.
Okay guys, so your questions are now on the board. Any questions you have about them, please feel free to email me or go back through the video. Feel free to have the video on while you have a go at the questions. Pause me now and then we'll go through the answers when you're done. Okay, the answers are now on the screen for you. If you're looking and thinking, oh my goodness, I've not got these right and I'm not sure why, please email me and we will go through it together. Okay guys, so on to your writing for today. We are looking today at how to plan a survival guide. Okay, so your task for today is to plan a hedgehog survival guide. So you are Max and you are writing a survival guide for all of your hedgehog friends. So what are the top tips you have learned on your journey? What important pieces of advice would you need to tell your fellow hedgehogs? So your introduction might be, why should hedgehogs follow your survival guide? Why is it important? And then one of the rules might be, what issues did you encounter? What have you learned from them? So think about those to create your rules. So maybe it's looking both ways when you're crossing because the traffic comes from both ways, that sort of thing. It's up to you. And then your summary is to tell the hedgehog reader what they have now learned. Okay? So introduce your sorry, no, you're not writing it today, you're just planning it. So think of your 3 rules, think of what you might put in your introduction and your summary. Any problems, please just send me an email. The more you do today, the easier tomorrow will be. Okay, bye.